Hello children, how are you? I hope you are staying safe and healthy. Yes, last day we discussed the chapter Bukka Learns a Lesson. Okay, Bukka Learns a Lesson. This is the title of our story and it is written by Dipan Vida Roy. It is written by Dipan Vida Roy. And who is the major character in this story? Yes, Bukka. Bukka is an elephant calf. He is a major character in that story. Then, what is the speciality of Bukka? Yes, Bukka has a white mark on his forehead. Then, an elephant with a white mark on his forehead become the leader of the herd. That is a speciality. Then, the elder ones of the jungles taught the rules of the jungle to the younger ones. Bukka disliked all the rules and he started destroyed everything. He disliked all the rules and he broke all the rules. Then the younger one or the leader of the herd decided to taught him a lesson. Then that lesson changed the entire life of Bukka. Then Bukka became a good elephant calf. That is a summary of the story. Bukka learns a lesson. And today we are going to discuss grammar junction. Okay, it's page number 130. So please take page number 130. And before we go into the chapter, let us see the definition of clauses. And today we are going to focus on if clauses. Then before we go into the chapter, let us see the definition of clauses. What do you mean by a clause? Yes. Yeah, a clause is a group of words. A clause is a group of words that consist of a subject and a finite verb. A clause is a group of words and that consists of a subject and a finite verb. It forms a complete sentence in itself or is a part of a larger sentence. It forms a complete sentence and it has a subject and a finite verb. It forms a complete sentence in itself and or it is a part of a larger sentence. This is the definition of a clause and today we are going to focus this topic if clauses. Okay, here you can see a sentence from the story. If you are not careful, the birds will never be your friends. If you are not careful, the birds will never be your friends. Yes. Who told these lines? Yes, the leader of the herd. Leader of the herd told these lines. It is an advice. Okay. If you are not careful, the birds will never be your friends. Look at this sentence again. Here, this sentence starts with if, and here you can see a comma, and this comma separates these two sentences into two. Okay. If you are not careful, here you can see a comma. Then the birds will never be your friends. And this is an example of if clause. Okay, if clause sentences. Then we can divide these two into two. This one is the first part. If you are not careful is the first part of the sentence. Then second part is the birds will never be your friends. First part, if you are not careful, that is the first part, and this comma separate this sentence into two. Second part, the birds will never be your friends, and the first part starts with if. Okay, second part, the birds will never be your friends. Then the first part of the sentence is a clause that begins with if. We already told so that the first part of the sentence is a clause that begins with if. The clauses that begins with if and state a condition are called if clauses. So it has the first part has some specialities. The first part starts with if and it states a condition. If you are not careful, it's a condition. Okay, it's a condition. So the first part starts with if and it states a condition, and we can say that it can be we can say that it is an example of if clauses. Then and the second part. Okay, second part, the other clause is the main clause. The second part is the main clause. Second part is the main clause and it states the possible outcome of the condition mentioned in the if clause. First part is the if clause and the second part deals with, the second part states the possible outcome of the condition mentioned in the first part. The second part states the possible outcome of the condition. First part states a condition and the second part states the possible outcome of the condition in the first part. Okay, this is is an example of the first. This sentence is an example of if clauses. Then let us look some more specialities of this. If you are not careful, this sentence is in simple present tense. Okay, this is in simple present tense. Then the birds will never be your friends. Yes, here this is in simple future tense. Here you can see will is used and the base form or the structure of a simple future tense is subject plus will or shall plus base form of the verb, and the structure of simple present tense is subject plus base form of the verb, and this is in simple future tense. The first part is in simple future tense and it begins with if, then it states a condition. Then the second part is a main clause and it is in simple future tense and it states the possible outcome of the first part. That is the major specialities of if clauses. Then if we place the if clause at the beginning of a sentence, if we place the if clause, here you can see this sentence, the first part begins with if and it is if clause. Then if we place the if clause at the beginning of a sentence, we add a comma after it. Okay, we add a comma after it. For examples, if it rains, okay, here you can see this sentence begins with if and a comma is used here. This comma separates these two sentences into two. If it rains, this is an if clause and it states a condition. Then this is the main clause. The roads will be muddy. This is the main clause. This is if clause and this one is the main clause, and it states the possible outcome of the condition in the first part. If it rains, the roads will be muddy. This states, the second part states the possible outcome of the first part. Then second one, the roads will be muddy if it rains. Here comma is not used in this sentence. Here the first sentence starts with if, so a comma is used to separate these two sentences. If we place the if clause at the beginning of a sentence, we add a comma after it. Okay, if we place the if clause at the beginning of a sentence. Look at this sentence again. Here you can see this sentence starts with if and a comma is used here. Then look at the second sentence. Here this sentence starts with the and no comma is used in this sentence. Okay, these are the important points related to the if clause. Okay, now we are going to do an activity. The question is complete these sentences based on the story. Okay, complete these sentences based on the story. And the question, first question, if you break branches with flowers, if you break branches with flowers, this is a question, and this sentence starts with if and it is an if clause, and you are asked to find the main clause. Here you can see a comma is used here, and you are asked to complete this blank with by finding the main clause. And I'll give you an example. Yeah, the answer is bees and butterflies will be die without nectar. You can find answers from the story. This is an example. Bees and butterflies will be die without nectar. Okay, next question. If the big animals are not careful while sitting down, yeah, here also you can see the sentence. This one starts with if, so it's an if clause, and here you can see a comma is used here, so this is an if clause, and you are asked to you are asked to find the main clause of this one. Okay, this is a condition. The if clause states a condition and you are asked to find the possible outcome of this first part. Okay, they will crush small animals. Then next one, if the animals find food, yeah, you are asked to find the main clause. They will share it with others. And the another important feature is the if clause. We already saw that if clause is in simple present tense. Okay, So you should note that point. The if clause is in simple present tense and you should write the main clause in simple future tense. Okay, that's another important point. Then next one, if there are no butterflies, this if clause is in simple present tense and the main clause should be in simple future tense. There won't be flowers, fruits or trees. Okay, next one, if there is fire in the forest, this is an if clause and you are asked to find the main clause. A comma is used here to separate these clauses. The squirrels will inform the other animals. Okay, and this is your homework, page number 131, question number 2. Okay, today we discussed if clauses and I hope today's class is helpful to you. Wish you a good day. Thank you.